I'm just making sure there's do y'all see a little thingy that says, yes, a little thingy that says recording. All right, so the first step to making your book is you have your cardboard, okay? And you can either do this by tearing or by cutting, what's easiest for you, but you need to like unfold it so that it's, you know, flattened out all the way, okay? And I think it's easier if you work on the side that the cardboard is plain, as opposed to working on the side that has the marks, because here, like, it's harder to see. Y'all know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna flip it this way. This particular box, because it was like a spoon box, I'm not gonna be able to use this side, but I can at least do my front cover. I'll just have to get another box to cover. Does that kind of sort of make sense? Okay, so you've got to think, okay, this is the size that my page is, or whatever size your page is going to be, okay? And sometimes I'll actually get a pencil, okay, and draw the page, now not the cover, the actual page onto my cardboard, you know, just holding it still and kind of going around it, okay? If that's my page, then my cover needs to be slightly bigger. How much bigger is up to who? Yes, that's up to you. This is your book. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of go outside of that a little bit, and I want there to be, you know, a pretty even line, okay? And that's where your ruler can come in handy, because you could say, oh, maybe I wanted a 1/2 inch bigger or 1/4 inch bigger. I'm gonna make mine 1/4 inch bigger. So I'm gonna use my ruler, but you don't have to use your ruler, you can eyeball it, okay? And I'm gonna draw another rectangle, and that rectangle needs to be bigger than my page. I meant to ask this before we get started, but how many of y'all are gonna use index cards? Do y'all want an index card to trace? You already have one, don't you? Yeah, they are on the table right here. You might have to open a new pack, but it's literally right there. Stanley and Chris, what are y'all using for your pages? Do you want to use one to trace? You already have one? Okay. Chris, what are you using for your pages? An index card. Do you have one that you can trace, or do you want to get one from my table? Okay, that's perfect. Okay. So then I'm going to essentially, you know, what's this called? I'm going to make my marks all the way around, and I'm going to get myself a bit. Now, if you want it to be precise, and this is just, you know, you have to decide this as an artist, then you would actually use your ruler and measure. If this book is more handmade and you're okay if it's not like totally perfect, you can eyeball it. But either way, you do need to use the ruler to make sure that the lines are straight. Do you know where my refrigerator is, Liz? Just throw that in the refrigerator. I don't really know what she made, but whatever. I'm not going to turn down free food. It's my mother-in-law. And this is recording, so yay. All right, so y'all be able to see once I draw this box out. And again, I'm going to be cutting it out, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. But there's the box that I drew. And then here's my index card. So y'all can see how my index card sits inside of it. Y'all see what I mean? And then I have like a little bit of a border that goes all the way around my page. Y'all all got your page, your cover size drawn out? Why not? You know your dimensions. I told you to write them down in your sketchbook. So you don't have to trace your page, because we already said your cover was going to be like 5 by 7 or whatever. So you just need to draw a 5-inch line and a 7-inch line and then connect them. Tribeca, you all right? Okay. Sorry. So I know hopefully y'all are at home following along with me. or maybe not, you're just watching and writing down the steps, but again, I am recording, okay? So from here, you know, sometimes I do like to, you know, go over it with like a marker just to make sure I can see it real clear, but this is again why I do it on the dark side, but that is totally up to you. You can open that. No, that's, yeah, just no one's opened it yet. Okay, and from here you can cut it. The biggest thing is though, is, you know, you are going to be using scissors. You can use an X-Acto knife if you want, and a ruler, which I can show the in-person kids how to do. But you'd have to have a cutting mat, but this is small enough and you've got a line to follow that you should, you know, be able to use your scissors and follow this line. You know, I might go out of the camera view for a second. Okay, and you're gonna then cut out that square, which is going in and out of focus because my camera loves to do this, especially when I'm recording. So now we're gonna have a blurry YouTube video. It's always something, I swear to God. Nope, even worse. What? It's right there by the lollipops. Okay, maybe one day. Okay, is that in focus? I just need something to be in focus. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna cut this out really quick, and I am doing it off the screen. So people who are watching this are gonna have to fast forward a lot, but that's okay. At least I'm still recording it. I guess I could record myself doing this at home too, without interruptions, but then I have to take time to do it at home. Okay. Okay, so I've cut it out. Ta-da, there's my square. Okay, you need a front cover and a back cover. So ideally, you know, and I don't have enough cardboard, but ideally you would get your other piece of cardboard and then all you'd have to do is put this square down and do what? Trace it. Put the square down, trace it, cut it out. Okay. Some of you, your box might be big enough that you might have scraps and you might be able to share it with someone. And then they can get like, because I know like a couple of y'all only have half a box today instead of a full box. So you might only get your front cover or you might only get your back cover, but you've at least got, you know, your cover. Yes, no? Okay. Your cover started. But at any point in time after you've cut it out, all you have to do is trace it to get the other one. So it's not like they have to be totally the same size. Okay, y'all got yours cut out yet, or are y'all still measuring? Is it possible for you what? You can make it any size you want. Are you using an index card though? No. What are you using for your pages? Okay, then you can, if you're using paper, you can cut the paper to any size you want, but the pages need to be smaller. So again, you know, this is going to sit in here like this. That's going to be my cover and that's going to be my page. Y'all, everybody with me? Okay, so I'm going to stop recording for a second because I can stop and I can pause the recording. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that everyone's together. I'm going to get a couple more supplies out and then I'll continue recording. All right, so again, I have my cardboard cut out. Ideally, I have two of these, one for the front cover and one for the back cover. And then I have my paper that I'm going to wrap it with. Again, you can paint it, you can wrap it with plain paper, which you can paint and decorate later, or you can wrap it with colored paper or decorative paper. That's totally up to y'all, okay? So I'm going to set my paper to the side for just a second. I'm not gonna put it anywhere far. I'm just gonna set it to the side. Okay, and you want to use either the back of your sketchbook or a page of your sketchbook that you don't like a whole lot. Like everybody has a mess up page, like, you know, that you hate. Okay, like for example, when I demonstrated this in one of my classes, Might have been y'all, I don't remember. I'm never going to use this for anything. So you want like a junk page or something, because we're going to glue today and we don't want the glue to get anywhere else. Okay. So I'm going to be gluing this piece of cardboard onto this piece of paper. All right. The type of glue that you use honestly really doesn't matter. I figure if you're at home, you probably have some type of an Elmer's school glue that you can use, or you might have a glue stick. Okay. Hot glue is the only glue that like won't work. Okay. But any other type of glue will work. If you are invested or you are like a crafter, this stuff right here called Mod Podge is phenomenal, fantastic glue. Okay. And it comes in gloss or satin or matte, but this is really nice glue. You can buy this at Walmart and Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Okay. Because I'm fancy and I'm in class, I'm going to be using this glue right here that's called nori paste. Okay. It's a Japanese glue. It's a special glue because it has a slower drying time. So it's going to help keep my paper from getting like wrinkled while I'm making my book. And I'm going to paint it on. So the best situation is to have a tub of glue. Now, if you're opening the nori paste, because this is what the in-person kids are using, you'll notice that it has a little cap on it. So you just pull the cap off. Do not lose this cap. Capiche? All right. And then it's very simple. We're going to paint it. If you don't have a paintbrush, you know, and you're at home, obviously you can spread the glue with your fingers, or you can just, you know, use your glue stick and kind of go like this. But it's going to like this glue, particular glue that I got is like a, what's it's called, is like stuck. So no glue is going to come out of it. You don't want to leave the glue as just like a strip. You want to take the glue and you want to smear it out. Okay. Because glue does weird things to paper. So the ideal thing to do when you're gluing is to actually have a glue brush. Okay. Or to just use a brush that, you know, you're going to wash really well with soap. Because if you don't wash this brush out and you put glue on it, what's going to happen to the brush? Yeah, it's going to dry out. It's going to be ruined. Okay. So I take my paste or whichever glue it is that I'm using. Again, if you don't have a brush, you can always use your finger. You can get like a paper towel and wipe the glue on, like, you know, dip into the glue and wipe the glue on with a paper towel. You know, you've got to be a little bit creative if you are at home. But I'm not at home. I'm at school. So, oh shoot, it doesn't matter. I should have put the glue on this side though. It doesn't really matter though. Okay, but I got excited. I'm going to put the glue on the colorful side of the cardboard first. But if you accidentally put it on the other side, it doesn't matter. And you really want to make sure that you get the glue on there edge to edge. You don't want to have any dry spots. Does that make sense? We're not cutting the paper yet. That will come later. Okay. All right. So the first thing I do is just try to get the glue all on there as much as possible. And I am sorry if you are at home, I can't give you guys glue. I don't have enough glue to send y'all home with glue. If I did, I would have, but I just don't. Okay. I buy glue like one for each table. So I have 12 bottles of glue because I have 12 tables. So I don't have enough glue to send it home. Right. And you don't want it to be like thick, but you want it thick enough that it's going to stick. Y'all know what I'm saying? So don't put it on there so thin that it barely works. All right. Now I'm going to set my brush to the side, but I can't forget about it too long because I don't want to, I've got to remember to wash it out. Very important step. Okay. And though when I am done with the glue, because you don't want it to dry out, you know, always make sure the glue is nice and sealed. Okay. Because this is nori paste, it has a little bit of a slower drying time. So, you know, I can let it sit here for a second. but that scrap paper was just so that I could glue it, and any extra glue went on my scrap paper as opposed to like going on my table. Y'all know what I mean? I could paint edge to edge and I didn't have to worry about getting glue on my table. Okay, so now I do want to either turn the page or close my sketchbook because I don't want to work on a surface that still has glue on it. Y'all with me? Okay. It's very easy, this next step. Take your paper. This particular paper has a white side. Obviously, I want the colorful side to show, not the white side. So I'm going to flip it like this. Okay. And I'm going to place my cardboard where there's a border. See how there's a border? A border. Like I'm not placing it right here on the edge. I'm placing it where there's a border. Okay. And then I'm just going to press it down. And, you know, y'all can see where I accidentally glued on this side and I wasn't supposed to. So I'm just trying to, you know, make that go away. And I'm holding it still with one hand. And then what am I doing with the other hand? Yes. I'm just kind of pressing it and massaging it, trying to give the paper time for the glue and the paper to absorb together and for this to dry. Okay. In the process, I'm also smearing some of my glue on this side. Okay. It was a little crooked, but it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you leave extra paper around at all the edges. Okay. And y'all will see why in just a second. Okay. But I'm going to give that a little bit of time to dry. Make sure you turn the page though, because you don't want to have wet glue anywhere. If you end up getting a little bit of glue on your fingers, the best thing to do is to rub your fingers against each other and it'll come off with these like little black things, you know, or kind of go like this. That's the best way to get glue off your fingers. If you try to wash it off or wipe it off with a paper towel, it can be a disaster. So, but yes, if you don't want to get glue on your fingers, you could do the same exact step with a paper towel, you know. And you just have to give the glue time to dry. Okay, I'm sorry again for the people at home that I can't give you glue. Okay, now it's a really simple step. Okay, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off the excess paper, making sure that I still leave myself room to have an excess on each side. Doesn't even matter if it's perfectly straight or not, but I'm going to end up with that. So essentially, I just cut off this extra piece. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. And I just put my finger in the glue. Again, the more that you kind of massage it with your finger, the less likely that your paper is going to wrinkle. Okay. Have y'all ever had paper get wet and wrinkle on you? That's like the worst. That's why you want to kind of massage it. That way, when you flip it over, the paper is nice and clean and not wrinkled. See that? But I'm going to flip it back over because I have wet glue on this side. Okay. I'm really bad at verbalizing things because I'm a, what's the word? I'm a visual person, but I'm going to do the best I can to describe to y'all this next step. Okay. Are y'all all caught up? If you need help, please ask me. This, including people at home, please ask me. Okay. I'm going to draw this with pencil. Okay. Imagine drawing a square right here that lines up with the corner. Do y'all see how I did that? I followed this line and drew a line up. Then I followed this line and drew a line out. Do y'all see how I did that? It should be pretty self-explanatory, but you're just following the edge of the box and you're drawing squares. They don't have to be perfect. But imagine if I were to do that in all four corners, what it would look like. Well, not quite. We're going to do something a little bit different. You'll see. Easy step or hard step? I don't know. Draw 4 squares. Okay, this is where y'all are going to get mad at me and be like, what? Okay. Well, do y'all want me to show you there's 2 different ways you could do this next step? Okay. I'll show you both ways. Okay. Option number 1 is to take that square, okay, and go in very slightly on a diagonal on both sides, like that. Okay, so my line was originally here, and I'm cutting in towards like the middle. And I'm doing like a little, so almost like an, what's that, an obtuse angle, right? This was a right angle, and I made it into an obtuse angle by moving the lines down and out. Okay, so what that would look like if I were to cut this. And again, hold on, it's not wanting to cut on me. Okay, it would look like I cut out that shape, almost kind of like a triangle. Okay, your other option, if you don't want to do that, is to just, I'm going to draw it with a different line, is to draw a diagonal out and cut a diagonal. And I'll show you all the difference. So on the one side, it's easier. Each one has an advantage and a disadvantage. So y'all will see. On the one side, I'm doing this. On the other side, I'm cutting this, and y'all are about to see the difference. Okay, let me cut it. And I know I take it off camera to cut it, but that's because I have to hold my scissors close to my face when I cut. Well, I don't care if it's dangerous, that's what I gotta do. Okay. Sorry, there's like 100 different ways to make books. So I'm trying to think which ones are like the easiest. Okay. So on this side, I cut like almost like a diamond shape out. On this side, I cut on the diamond. Y'all see that? Then you would take this. So this side, all I have to do now is fold it over. See how I did that? And glue it. Okay, on this side though, if I fold it over and glue it, see how this piece sticks out? So what I have to do is I have to take that piece that I just cut and fold it. So you got to decide which one do you like better, fold it or cut it. But either way, I'm still getting the same shape. Just one way I cut the shape and the other way I folded the shape. That is literally the only difference. Y'all following me? So fold it over, fold it over. Then again, you probably want to put your scrap paper behind it, because when I glue it, look what I'm going to do. Put my scrap paper, open up my glue. Okay, where am I going to put my glue? Do I put it on the cardboard or do I put it on the paper? And I don't know why it's going out of focus. I really hate this. It's like as soon as I start recording, it's like, oh, let me pretend I don't know how to focus. Okay. You take your glue, you put it on the paper. Yep. So you spread the glue onto the paper like this. Whoops, a little stray hair. Okay. Then take that. Sometimes you want to kind of get it started first. Wrap it, fold it over and wrap it. Then press it down. Try not, if it has wrinkles, You got to try to massage those wrinkles out while the glue's still wet. See how I did that? Ta-da. We're going to cut, what do you mean not even? That doesn't matter. Yeah, you just don't do it quite as much. Do it more like right here. So it's just barely. Like you don't want this line to be straight. You want it to be like a diagonal. So every line that you did, go in between and cut there. Does that kind of make sense? Right there. Mm-hmm. All right. I just heard my remind go off. So I'm going to glue that down where I folded it. Yes, ma'am.
So I cut right here.
Yep. And then you're going to fold.
Okay.
All right. Glue. Then take it, fold it over. See how we're kind of wrapping it? It doesn't matter which technique you choose, whether you fold it or you cut it. Either technique will work. I did one side where I folded and one side where I didn't fold. So, you know, again, whichever technique you like better. Ooh, that doesn't want to stay. Stay. And stay. Okay. Now I'm going to glue the sides. Put my brush down. Fold them over. Who knew making a book was this hard / this easy? Yeah. But very rewarding to be like, hey, look, I made this. I have my own book. This is going to be the inside, which we still have to cover it up. That's going to be the outside. But y'all see how I did that? Okay, now it might not sit totally flat. What we can do is we can press them. If you want, now, if you're like, y'all have to draw on this. So you, no, Tristan, it's okay. I'm going to show you what you can do. Don't even worry about it. We can put white on the inside and you can make the inside the outside. Because I still have to put another piece of paper here to cover up this.
Oh, you're right. All right.
Okay, so don't freak out. Okay, but there we go. Now that's there. I purposefully though chose a colored paper because I think for demonstrating it's easier to see. So now comes the fun part. Everything that I just did to the one cover, I have to repeat and do again to the other cover. Do y'all remember all the steps? I can do another one. It'll just have to be smaller because I don't have the cardboard. So do y'all want me? I'm going to demo it again with a smaller piece of cardboard. Capiche? All right. So here's my front cover. And just because, you know, we're pretending, I'm going to make my back cover. In theory, my back cover should be the same size as my front cover. I don't have enough cardboard, so I'm going to have to make my back cover a different size. Let Stanley and Jonathan use them first because they need the cardboard more than I do. Jonathan, there's cardboard there if you need it. I don't know if you can get it. Can you get a piece big enough out of that? No. Well, I tried. Okay, let me see real quick. There was someone who messaged me and remind. I'm going to pause the recording real quick. Well, soon. All right. So once I wrap my first cover, then I'm ready to wrap my second cover. Okay. So we're pretending that this is the same size because I'm out of cardboard. So now I'm making a little one. But in theory, they need to both be the same size. Okay. So step number one, I always apply the glue to the colored side. Okay, get your glue. And again, I have this is what I'm going to call my glue paper. I'm actually going to label it so y'all can remember. Make sure you have your glue paper. This just needs to be crappy paper you don't give a crap about. Okay, make sure you've got your glue paper underneath. Then get your glue and spread your glue all over your cardboard. All right, that's step number 1. Who remembers what's next? What's next? Yes. Yes. So after you apply the glue, step number 1, you pick up the cardboard very carefully and you move the glue paper out of the way. Capiche? Important step because otherwise glue makes stuff look gross. Okay. Then you get your pretty paper. Okay. And you flip it over upside down and you take your cardboard and you put it glue side down and you place it down, remembering that you want to have a little border all the way around the edge. That border is so that we have room to wrap it. See, that's the whole reason why that's there. Okay, then you hold it still and you use your finger or a paper towel and you gently massage it, which is going to remove air bubbles and wrinkles and also help the glue absorb into the paper. It's kind of like a sponge with water, except it's a lot slower. Y'all all with me? Oh, thank you. Sorry to make you drive in for just that, but I appreciate it. Okay, massage it in. Ta-da! How exciting. Okay, and you want to keep doing that until it doesn't move. If it wiggles, it's still wet. I guess I should have said that the first time. Okay, now what? Not yet.
Oh, you cut out a border.
Yes, now I got to cut out a border, which means I've got to find scissors. Where the heck are my scissors? Oh, here they are. All right. Oh my God. All right. Let me cut out my border. People are going to watch this and be like, she's a crappy teacher. Her phone's going off in the background. Welcome to art. Okay, we're a little bit creative. Okay. So step 3 is cut off the excess paper, which, by the way, save these scraps because you can put these in your sketchbook. You know, use them for something. Use them for collaging. Do something cool with them. This is really nice, pretty paper. Save this. Okay. I could end up making a ton of little mini books out of my scraps. Just saying. All right. Now for the corners, we have 2 options. Because that's the next step, is how am I going to cut? What are my options for cutting? Someone remind me. Diagonals is one. I can cut a diagonal right here and fold. So option number 1 is cut a diagonal and fold. Or option number 2 is to draw the squares and then cut a little bit outside of them like that. Either option works. Does it matter to Ms. Walker? No, not really. Out of curiosity, how many of y'all chose to cut the diagonal and fold? You did, right? Dajane did. Who else cut the diagonal and folded? Anyone? 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 Good conversation. My scissors keep sliding. They're like going to fall off my cart. Okay. So now I cut, depending on which option I choose. I know I'm going faster this time, so y'all might not be keeping up with me, but y'all got to realize I got to look at the clock because it's 3:15. Yeah. All right. I know. I think this class goes by really fast. I think it flies. I think you guys think it goes really slow, but depends on what we're doing. And today was a day I had to rush because I knew making the cover takes a long time. So like, I was like, we gotta like get going. Okay. So again, on the diagonal ones, I've got to fold it like that. On the other ones, I don't have to fold it. So it's just which step do you like better? Doesn't matter to me. Okay. But I'm just taking this line right here and I'm folding it in so that it lines up with my cardboard box. Either way, if you look at it, I'm getting the same shape. I'm just either getting the shape by cutting it or I'm getting the shape by folding it. But either way, I'm getting an obtuse angle right here. Not a right angle, an obtuse angle. That's the only difference. Then from here, all I have to do is what? Okay, if I'm gonna glue, what do I have to remember to get out? My glue paper, which I very fancily labeled glue paper. Ta-da! All right, now I can glue. So I'm gonna glue my folds down first, which you don't have to do, but it makes it easier in my opinion. And when you've done this a bunch, like I have, you can do it really fast, but you know, y'all, this might be your first time. So, you know, you're probably a little bit more hesitant and want to make sure you do it right. So I always think it's better to do it slow, go slow and make sure you don't mess up than to rush it and make it look sloppy. You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm rushing because of the time. Yum, 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 yum. All right, then I glue. And I go again, I'm recording this. It will be going onto YouTube, so I don't want y'all to freak out if you get behind or if you know you don't have a specific material. You will be able to watch this again. Yes, no? Got a little wrinkle right there. It's because I'm rushing. If you do the folding technique, your paper is a little bit thicker because it's folded. And you're more likely to get a, what's it's called? You're more likely to get a wrinkle than if you cut. Okay, now I'm gonna tell y'all, the cover is not done right now. It's close, but it's not done. Okay, so y'all will see what I mean tomorrow, but this is obviously as far as we're gonna go today. So in the end, you should have 2 wrapped covers, although they should be the same size, but that's all the cardboard I had. So, ta-da, yes, no, maybe so. Okay. I'm gonna pause the recording or stop the recording there.